Just like that, platinum was out and gold was in. We're talking retro jewelry. The retro jewelry period covers the 1940s and the 1950s. It's largely associated with World War II. And the world was stressed out, they were at war, and they needed forms of escape. One form of escape was the movies, and stars were wearing beautiful new modern jewelry. A lot of industries were heavily affected by the war, but the jewelry industry wasn't. The only thing was they couldn't get platinum. Platinum was reserved for military use, so they made their jewelry out of gold, and they included yellow gold, green gold, and rose gold, sometimes combining these colors to make the jewelry interesting. Another thing that happened during this period was that stones were found in Brazil. Citrines, amethysts, and aquamarines were found in Brazil, and they were big and they were beautiful. And those are the stones that are mostly used in retro jewelry. And they were generally very big, and they were emerald cut, and they were accompanied with diamonds. There were still diamonds left over from previous use. There were some use of sapphires and rubies, but these also mostly would have been left over, except some were synthetic. There were some that were lab created. And so if you find a piece of retro jewelry that has either lab created stones or a mix of natural and lab created stones, that doesn't mean that it is a fake piece of jewelry. That is typical of the period. Ribbons and bows continue to be a motif in retro jewelry, but they look very different. While in the Edwardian period they got lacy and light, now they're getting big, bold gold. And they are showing 3 dimensions. They're 3-dimensional, and the bows even look like they have folds in them. So it's a very different style. A lot of the pieces you can tell that they're retro because it'll be a big emerald cut stone with ribbons behind it. Is a very typical form of jewelry. And that could be in pins and in necklaces and bracelets. And the rings were a lot of times those big bright emerald cut stones with little accent stones behind them, and then scrolls of gold. Usually though, instead of being pierced and etched and repoussé, it's more of a shiny, high polish, dramatic gold. The overall theme of retro jewelry is exaggeration. It's exaggeration, it's big, it's colorful, it's bold, and it's gold. There were huge gold necklaces made at this time that were considered, reserved, but they're big gold necklaces, big gold bracelets. There were buckle bracelets in this period, and they usually had sort of this honeycomb look to them, and they're very flexible. They're somewhat reminiscent of Victorian bracelets, but you can tell the difference. They have that buckle theme, but it is a very different look. Some of my favorite bracelets from the time were imitating the tread marks that the tanks made, that the military tanks made in the sand. And there are some really cool, just interesting, different shapes of bracelets that were never seen before and really haven't been seen since. And sometimes they were all gold, and then sometimes in the scrolls, sort of in the form that the tank made on the side, you'll see them set in stones. They're my favorites. There are some fascinating pieces from this period. So that's the retro jewelry period. It is one of my favorite periods. I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe so we can see each other again. Until next time.